Yeah. So I don't know. I think everybody's here. I'm gonna try to get through this and get you guys prepared for the rest of the day and next week. Welcome new people. I see some new faces. So yeah, we do these every Sunday. Um, Also, there's impromptu calls. So like if something's going on, we'll do a call, try to record those. And I know Shavi and the guys typically for market open start to prep around 9 o'clock on weekdays. So definitely a lot of things going on, a lot of engagement, a lot of discussion. Don't be shy to talk. Um, be involved. The more you're involved, the better you'll do. And obviously, some people don't have the ability to always be as involved as others. It doesn't mean you can't get value, but keep your eyes open on channels. And typically, when somebody pings everybody, it's usually something important. Like we try to avoid spamming that. So if you see like any of the admins tagging everybody, it's probably worth looking at whatever is going to be said there. So yeah, is the recording on? No.
Yeah, it started.
Oh, okay. I was like, maybe I have to repeat that. Okay, so I think let's get right into it. Let's look at BTC. On Friday, and I don't have my computer with me, so somebody also probably Cardi will stream first and share. But and I'd like to hear what he has to say. But was looking for some sort of like pullback shakeout over the weekend. We didn't get it yesterday, but we're starting to get it now, and seen this happen a few times where stocks close very bullish, BTC looking great. It pulls back a little bit to shake some people out, and then when stocks open around 6 o'clock, it starts to go back up. And usually there's like another retest if there is a dip, but overall, like looking at this, and I saw Stillman had mentioned, be careful. We don't want to lose the range, and I agree. When you look at like a parabolic move like this, and we can look at it on the hourly, like every pretty much every flag or wave, any structure that we got on the way up, they always broke out and up, and we haven't really revisited a previous structure yet. And once that starts to happen, I think you need to be careful because it could start to pick up bearish momentum pretty quickly in that scenario. I've seen that happen many times when you're riding a trend. Once the trend stops doing what it's been doing, then that's your time to be careful and kind of give it some time to see if it can actually reclaim, make higher highs, whatnot. But you know, when it's been doing something for so long now, once it stops, that's a time to pay close attention. And I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but personally, looking at this, I could see, something in line with like 36, like around like 36.8, 36.9, something like that. If you get a pullback down there and that holds, then you'll long that, in my opinion. And it's a pretty good RR setup because if you start to take out the low wicks on the hourlies down there, Cardi will pull it up. But like if you start to go below 36.4, 36.3, like that's when I would probably be out. And if it's a stop run, it's a stop run. Lose the trade. But you don't want to long like 36.6 and have your stop like $1,000 away or something, because if it doesn't bounce out of an area like that quickly, then you're going to get stopped out or liquidated or whatever. So I guess it's better if we have charts open for this discussion. So I don't know what Cardi or Stillman, you guys want to take
Yeah, I
over
could
and
go.
discuss it? Yeah.
You want to go, Cody?
Yeah, I'll go. All right. So right now, obviously, we made the high here. We haven't, kind of formed a resistance, so to say, like right here, right? And now, as we speak on this call, we're having a dump. A dip. Um, Me personally, like this whole area here, like I won't buy this for a third time. I'd rather buy like somewhere Um, oops. We've been doing the consolidation things, either like KJ said, like around this area. Like, this is like prime real estate right here. Like this, I want to buy, and like I'd say like just this area as well. So
Yeah,
like me,
that's what I'm saying too. Yeah.
so me, like I know I put the fibs here, but I would buy this whole area here, and it looks like a big area, but up here it's only, well, actually that's a gigantic area. uh yeah, so listen, to be honest, on a Sunday, I mean, personally, I'd wait for the stocks to open tonight, but I would just keep bids here. Like this is not that big, like 6%. Like that's hard for a lot of people to manage in this group. Maybe I would just buy like maybe like this area first, like the 3% range. Um, if it were a dip here, but like I'm obviously not bearish. I think if we get down here, like I don't think we're gonna go all the way down like below 30, but I think like we're due for like some ranging because we saw this, but now look, like this year, like it's kind of like similar to this, but we're missing this one, so that kind of like aligns with one of these, you know. What I will say though is that this chart right now for me is more important, the Bitcoin dominance. Like, I think it's time for this thing to take a fucking break, which I would like because that means the alts are gonna go. And I think we got to start looking more and more at the Ethereum BTC chart because if this pumps and it looks pretty good. If this pumps, then we're gonna get some altcoin pumps, and I think we're due for one of those. It's like if you look at like this daily on the USD pair, doesn't look as good as the BTC pair, right? So I think like the BTC pair is due for like another leg up here. But I don't think like listen, I said when I did my live stream the other day, guys, if you're trading on Binance or FTX, okay, like you don't have to trade Bitcoin because like first of all it eats a margin because it's like worth so much, and B, like the alts when they move they outperform it. So like you're trying to make USD, so why would you even worry about trading Bitcoin? Like as whereas someone like me, I trade like on a coin underlying exchange. So I trade to make Bitcoin, so I have to trade Bitcoin. Like if you guys are getting like I see a lot of people in the group and margin chat are getting stopped on Bitcoin but making money on alts. Well, if that's your strength on like a USDT underlying exchange, like just don't trade Bitcoin. Like don't worry about it. Like just use Bitcoin's momentum and like how the charts are looking to decide like if you're gonna long alts or exit your positions, in my opinion. Because for me, like I see some people getting, chopped up on Bitcoin when it does its violent things, but not like people aren't getting hurt on the alts because they got the stink bids, right? So how about this? Like if you're getting hurt on Bitcoin, like put a stink bid like 10% away from now and like just trade your alts the way you would like the USDT alts because you shouldn't be losing money in a bull market. And I mean, if you trade on Bybit, I don't know, you have to trade Bitcoin obviously, but unless you use their USDT section. But yeah, I think like listen, like obviously we're gonna have buyers in this. Like we'll have buyers in this area. I think the rest of the day today, like this whole area is gonna be buyers. I really want to like see what happens around here. Like this is like more like people are gonna buy it, and anybody who just bought right now, their stop is 100% gonna be whoops. Their stop is gonna be a highlighter. The stop is gonna be here. Like these people, their stops are gone. So these guys are finished from buying it up here, never selling. These guys are gone. The next stops are down here, which coincides, in my opinion, with just buying this area consolidation right here. Like this for me is like a good area. I think we get back down here. Forget about this one for a sec. Just forget about this one for a sec. But if you're looking to play a bounce, this would be the area I'm looking at, and it would probably, in my opinion, if it takes out these stops, it's going to go like this, and then it'll come back to at least here, and at least here at the neckline, you want to take profits or you want to short. That's up to you. But in terms of the macro, I think we're really due for some ranging, which like is good. It's really good for alts. And I see like some Bitcoin. Like I looked at my portfolio today, and I noticed that my Bitcoin value is up. So that means some of the alts that I hold are pumping versus Bitcoin, which is what we want to see. So if Bitcoin, like I know it's down -1 on the day, but if it like ranges in a like let's say a 3% range, which is like this, then I could imagine that it's gonna like make alts just like take off because the USD pairings are pumping, but like the BTC pairings aren't pumping. When those BTC pairings pump, like it's really gonna take off. So if you're gonna look at alts on futures as well, in my opinion, I would look at the BTC and you want to build like a swing position on the alt. I would look at the BTC pair first. If it looks bullish, then yeah, for sure get on the USD side. I mean, it might be a bit too late now because all the USD pairs pumped, but I think we're due for a mini like alt season really soon. And having said that, Stillman's going to talk more about the stuff him and I spoke about on Glassnode, which I think is pretty important relative to taking profits on your long-term spot holdings.
Yeah, absolutely. Like just to
little
echo that statement, what Stillman wrote, like I couldn't agree more. I think.
Let me just share one more thing. All right, so back here, I just wanted to show you guys one thing. The stablecoin inflow. Okay, we had hold on, let me get it up here. So we like I've been watching this. I have like an alert set up on the site, CryptoQuant, for whenever we have like a spike in stablecoins. So we had a spike here, right? And obviously we came up here, and we just had a spike overnight over here for the dump. After we spiked here, we had like a little dip, and then we mooned. I still think it's worth buying the dip because usually when the stable coins go high, it means people are depositing stable coins to the exchange. They're gonna buy, you know. So I know we had a dip, but I think it's still worth looking. I think the market's still bullish. I wouldn't call a top here. If we have this coming in, I will also say that the guy who makes this site, I didn't pull it up, but he said that the miners have started selling up here, which on the weekends it makes sense for them to do, just because it's like a bit more dead, so they're not going to see like miss tons of upside. But again, like we've had it before, like where the miners were taking profit, but the institutions were all buying it up. So I imagine like during the week they'll buy it up again, right? So I'm not too worried about those guys, but this is like more something I want to look at, like the stable coins coming in, because when people deposit stable coins, it's usually to buy Bitcoin, as you can see like historically here. And if I like go to the hourly chart, like it look, spike here, go, spike here, go, you know, like all these spikes is like just bullish, right? So I'm still looking to buy the dip. The only problem is you don't know how much they're going to dip it before they give the upside, right? So just keep this in mind that this still is a bit of a bullish signal, but when you're playing, don't just buy naked saying fuck because they're depositing stablecoins. It has to like go to fucking 50K. Like just be aware. And you know, on a weekend, just say your bids below everybody's stop. So just say your bids below these wicks, and you'll probably get filled. If not, what's the difference? You'll play alts. All right, that's it. Yeah, Chris, my name was definitely on some of those.
Yeah, no problem. I'll just cut that part out.
Thanks.
So should I go and
Go for it.
take over?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. One sec. I'm not set up properly. There we go. All right. So this is one of the indicators that Cardi and I have been talking about. It's called NUPL, Net Unrealized Profit and Loss. And it's basically it's calculated by taking the difference of unrealized profits and losses in the markets. And as you can see over the course of the market cycle, when this is the NUPL, and this is Bitcoin's price, the gray. When we hit these blue areas, that was oftentimes, like every time actually, indicative of a top so far. And as you can see, we are very close to hitting that line at the moment. And there's earlier data to this in like 2011 where it spikes like crazy, but like Bitcoin is trading between $8 and $40. So like what's happening there is very, very wild. So I'm focusing on these two areas right here, this and the 2017 bull market. So in the 2017 bull market, we had several times where we spiked up close to this quote unquote topish area in the blue, and that was when the larger market corrections hit, where we got those like 40%, 30 to 40% dips in the market, and that was all healthy. So if that happens, I would absolutely buy the dip in this market. And these like the time frames where these happens are actually not that small, as it is with like other indicators like the RSI or the stochastic RSI. A lot of parts of the price expansion happens when these things go into overbought territory. Basically, that's when the emotions are the highest, and that's when the fear and greed index will be very, very high, and everybody's very, very trigger happy with the buy button that pushes the price, and then eventually it becomes unsustainable. So for example, these blue zones, they took place over a course of approximately 20 days each, and this was 10 days here in December 2017. So that keep that in mind. I think abstracting from time in that way, from our own subjective experience of time through data is important, because these 20 days must have felt pretty wild. And also, if like people used the indicator back then, obviously in the end they were very, very happy when if they sold some even on the first day of that 10-day period, but they could have squeezed more profit out of the market if they would have been a bit patient and scaled out. So yeah, this, like when this turns blue, it's not an immediate sell signal, is what I wanted to say. And also now, this is not an immediate sell signal, because price action is always more important to us than indicators. This is just a guidance that helps us understand where approximately in a macro cycle and also in a micro cycle, in that macro cycle, we might be. So I got this zoomed in for the 2017 action. And to me, this looks like it could form something like this right here. But some other stuff points more towards this kind of action, where we would actually get a blow off and a way longer consolidation, and then a second go. Like this wasn't the end of that bull market, right? But it's very, very, very differently shaped than what happened in 2017, where we just had these corrections to the 21 weekly EMA, and again correction to the 21, correction to 2021, then it stops. Here we had a proper blow off, then I think 6-7 months of ranging and chopping everybody up, and then it went absolutely ballistic. That's actually something that Kobe was suggesting on Twitter last week. So I could also see that happening actually, because Bitcoin at the moment doesn't really feel done, in my opinion. It's getting a bit weak, and I agree with Cardi that some ranging seems likely. Like the ranging will feel pretty volatile, but that would be likely. And then I could see us go actually for another leg that could be pretty blow off toppy in volume and price extension. We'll see about that. But yeah, I'm currently leaning more towards this than towards this. But this made me cautious. Was one of the things that made me cautious, which is why I made that post yesterday. this is another one, the MVRVZ score. Maybe Xavi is going to talk about this too, because he actually pointed me towards it the other night. So this just tries to assess a fair value of the network and designates these over and undervalued price zones here on the indicator, right? Like these are in reference to what the indicator does, not what price does. When the indicator spikes hard in red, then this metric is considered to be overpriced, and vice versa here in the green. And as you can see, for like bottom buys and bottom accumulation, it has been a pretty reliable tool. So it's defined as the ratio between it's defined as defined as the ratio of the market cap and the realized cap. Sorry, that the difference doesn't need to be there, and it's factoring in a standard deviation of market cap as well. And realized cap is not like market cap, where you multiply the current circulating supply with the current price. Rather, it is approximating the value by tracking the movement of coins on chain and assuming that they have been sold or bought at that point in time at that price. So obviously that assumption is not the truth. Like, coins move all the time without being sold, but that's how this indicator works, and it looks like the data is good enough to give good results. So let me get rid of this explanation. I drew this line here, where you can see that this was heavy support and resistance in 2017. And it had some reaction here in these consolidations, and maybe also around here with that bounce in 2013. Now, one factor that made me think we might be going for, let me go back, for this instead of this, was that this indicator already broke this resistance. That this is the same thing as this was here in 2017. So that was one thing that made me lean towards that maybe double blow off top. Let's call it double blow off top scenario, like we got there. Okay, total market cap. When this broke out, I made a comment in here and on Twitter too, how that's a pretty big deal, not only for Bitcoin but for the whole market. And I think like that was one part of my thesis for going heavy into alts, and I think that played out pretty nicely, because in my opinion it was a signal that all of crypto was breaking a resistance, not only Bitcoin. Bitcoin obviously had been bullish way longer. We also got that breakout from that price angle on the alts market cap, and we hit resistance yesterday, which was also, like last night, which was also a reason why I made that post. Of course, we could just break through it, but traversing through this angle without any resistance and then stopping there made me think this might be a good point to shave a bit of profit off and be ready to buy a dip. And this will be a recurring topic a little later. Bitcoin dominance. This was my chart from exactly last week. I pointed out the bearish divergences and how they were supposed to be a meme on something that's not tradable, but apparently they are not. And this is how this looks today. When we were down here and we were approaching this resistance, I pointed out that it would be pretty bad if we reclaimed this, because like Xavi always points out with price, and I found that very, very helpful, and it makes a lot of sense to me. If this was a bull trap, then this has to be heavy resistance. If a bull trap gets reclaimed, it's not a bull trap anymore. And that's very, very bullish, right? And the inverse is true for bear traps. Obviously, this is not a tradable asset, so talking about bull and bear traps might be a little bit confusing, but I think you get what I mean about it. This is like representative of altcoins, right? So this was a bear trap for all of the altcoin sector against BTC, And if the bear trap would have gotten reclaimed, it would have rendered it not a bear trap, and it would have most likely gone higher. So this looks good. Like the rejection, especially that we also don't seem to be doing the pitchfork, like the KJ pitchfork. It pretty much failed now, in my opinion. DMA is holding it up right now, and we'll probably get bounces, but it looks like it could be starting a downtrend. So that's very much in line with what Cardi is saying. This was our Ethereum dominance chart from last week, where I had that same, like I had like this was another theory, like with a like kind of macro bear trap, like where I said if we hold this level, then this would render all of this a macro bear flag for Ethereum bears, and basically would render Bitcoin maximalists wrong for a while, potentially. And this is what happened next. Pretty convincing. We even broke that high. And another reason why I would agree with Kati that altcoins could be in for some nice ongoing performance. Ethereum BTC 1 week chart from last week, same logic. If this holds, that's the 2017 capitulation level when BTC hit all-time high that day and then started to drop. That was when Ethereum bounced like this. So it's a very, very significant day. We tapped it once, we tapped it twice and bounced. And I said, okay, if this holds, then this is the bear trap on Ethereum BTC. And it played out so far. We took this high. And if we can print a higher low now next, then the trend looks pretty ready to go. And I want to point out that the volume on this bounce is very, very convincing. Like, well, that's the Binance chart, I think. No, it's Coinbase. Coinbase, very good. And that's the daily. Okay, so as we can see, we reclaimed the 200 EMA here. First time, it didn't hold. Second time, it's trying to bounce. At the moment, I would assume that it's going to hold, and I would buy retraces in that area. Ethereum USD, last night I luckily pointed out in alt trades that after we took an Ethereum entry earlier, like 2 days ago, that Ethereum USD was hitting this resistance, like the weekly open close level, which is like a neckline on the lower time frame charts, and that's where it found resistance. So in my opinion, this still looks bullish. Obviously, this can be a little concerning, and we got to watch the trend on the lower time frames very, very well. And I'd say, like, if we lose this level, bearish retested, and maybe like this would be my last call, where I would say we'll probably go at least to down here, and maybe to down here to the 0.618 and retest some of those earlier resistances. Ethereum USD, yeah, that's just the 4-hour where you can see how it tested and how it was currently still holding structure when I made the screenshot. But if Bitcoin dumped while we were talking, then this might look different right now. So we gotta take a look at this after the call again, I think, for this lower time frame. Another thing that we looked at last week was LTC BTC and later LTC versus Ethereum, because some people are having that thesis that LTC is where Ethereum was a couple of weeks ago. It's early in its market cycle, so we'll have moments where it outperforms Ethereum. And that might be the case. Actually, LTC has some interesting upgrades coming with like Mimblewimble privacy, stuff like that. It's also in that PayPal basket. So I could see it perform. Currently, it's still struggling with that Bitcoin, on the Bitcoin pairing, it's struggling with that weekly level that it would have to flip. It's holding, that's all right. But it keeps failing to show strength above this 200 EMA. This is the daily chart, so it's quite a long time frame. It's whole of 2020, and I was thinking that since this is like the third time I think it pokes its head over the 200 EMA, that it would finally manage to flip it. It didn't. Now it's doing this potential nice like double bottom right here, but it's got resistance here. Needs to flip that, and then needs to flip this. And I think if we get above this in short succession another time, that might be ready to perform against Bitcoin. And this is Litecoin against Ethereum. And while for a moment it looked like Litecoin was ready to outperform, Ethereum definitely took all of that back from him. And right now, it's actually a pretty logical place for it to at least bounce again against Ethereum. I think they could be like on a rubber band for a while until this looks bullish, like looks more bullish. I would still assume that Ethereum is the outperformer. Once that changes would be when I would favor LTC over Ethereum. Doge, since that was our canary to be positioned in altcoins at a pretty timely point in time, I guess, is looking like it wants to start to trend, in my opinion. This was very, very heavy resistance. It's holding so far. As long as this holds, I think Doge can go again eventually. Doesn't have to go now. Like there's more interesting stuff out there. As I mentioned when I called this was more like the festive celebration pump to kick off alt movement in this season. This was another chart I shared last week for DeFi perps, and we noticed how the OBV was already breaking out before price broke out. And since volume precedes price oftentimes, we were thinking that was a pretty good sign. Later, like we got another correction afterwards when we were already sitting here, and a couple people asked me in chat what we're going to do with it, and I suggested this box for entries. It held, and now this is going. And obviously this bear trap thing is kind of a meme, but who knows, in a year or so this might be looking like the bear trap of all bear traps. So that's the DeFi perp chart for FTX. The other one was for Binance. We also were looking at this. It was like, I think, sitting right here when we talked about it, and it looked just pretty bullish. Now we blew through the former all-time high, obviously also bullish, and are hitting like a fib extension in price discovery as resistance. So I could totally see us come down here, which would represent a loss in USD value of the underlying DeFi tokens. And same for Uniswap index, which I also shared. I think this was the old chart, and then we like gained like 30% here. That's from about here. That's like 30%. We already retested here a bit, and I could totally see us, since we're hitting weekly resistance here right now, I could totally see us pull back for a retest and then go. And the scenario where I would see this happening would be a bit of a steeper pullback on Bitcoin in this range. Like usually when Bitcoin starts to range, it does like this shockwave thing where the first impulses, the first up and down moves are the widest, and then it gets narrower and narrower. So the first move could be a bit more violent, which would lead to a couple nice retests on those USD pairings. And that's also a reason why I thought, let's take a little bit of profit so we are ready to buy those if they happen. And that's it for me.
Great stuff. Very good. And just to reinforce what Stillman said, Xavi said, I'm pretty sure I've said too. Cardi, bull trap. If it's not a bull trap, then it's bearish. If it's not a bear trap, it's bullish. And you can see that on candles where you get this nasty rejection candle, right? Like a inverted hammer where
actually the other way around, KJ.
Well, you get both.
If it's not a bear trap, it's bearish. If it's not a bull trap, it's bullish.
Yeah,
that.
Sorry. Sorry about that. But basically, what I'm saying is like if you see and there are times where like I'll ping everybody when I see this and be like, all right, you have this horrible rejection, and then the next candle it goes right back up to that level, like, and if it goes above, forget about it. It's fucking bullish. If it closes anywhere near it, but usually what I notice is when it gets up there in the candle, like it doesn't matter what resolution, but when it starts to look okay, this isn't going to close as a rejection. This is closing up here. Typically, at the end of the candle, it just fucking blows through. And I think we saw that on. I could be wrong, but BNT when we were talking about that last week, and remember we were on the call, and I was like, "This looks like it's going to pump right fucking now, like right now," and the same candle ended up going up like it fucking went crazy because I was looking at like, all right, that looked like a bull trap. It's not, and as soon as it's like everybody watching is realizing at the same time, and then you get like a bigger impulse, which was then rejected. But yeah, just to add that.
Yeah,
sorry
true.
if I confused anybody.
No, that's a good example, actually. And
I think that's what it was.
It happens on every time frame, right? Like
yeah, exactly.
That can also happen on macro time frame, and it just takes out longer to play out.
Yes.
And once you realize that interaction, that dynamic, then especially in the higher time frames, you actually have time to position yourself.
Yes.
Which is cool. So, Zabi, or do you want to go?
Sure.
Awesome.
All right.
I'd like to hear Xavi's fundamental analysis as well on like just everything. So one of the members.
Zabi, real quick, give us your fundamental analysis on everything.
No, meaning like COVID, the transition of power, and all these things. The stimulus. Yeah, really quickly though.
Oh, yeah.
Just tell me everything.
Very quickly.
But just, I mean,
I don't know how I'm gonna sound if I go too quick, you know.
No, there's a member in here who lost a friend to COVID, young guy, and just terrible to hear about it. And I know I've said things in the past where I'm like, yeah, this is bullshit, whatever. And I just wanted to say, for anybody that's lost anybody or anything like that, I apologize. I don't want to be insensitive to people that are losing friends and family members to this thing. So, I felt pretty shitty about that.
Well, it definitely makes you think, right? Because it can affect everyone, and we're here being making money and even a lot of it, and emotions are high, and market is very emotional, and even we are here trying to judge sentiment and use this sentiment and feel these emotions to make even more money, but it's hard not to be to keep ourselves in check too at one point, because very quick we can lose it and become ourselves emotional and not realize real life and think, oh, this is bullshit, and then it touch close to you, touch home, and it could have been you actually, so yeah, it's I'm gonna share my screen. Am I showing my screen right now?
I
I see it.
Yes.
Okay.
You have VIX open, right?
Yeah. So yeah, talking about emotions, the VIX here, what a transition. We are back below that gap, the yellow line, right? This is the VIX chart. If you're new here, this chart has been drawn like 6 months ago, and I didn't add one line since then. And these levels have been following, being respected pretty well, even on every week and gaps and pumps and dumps. And now we are back below this level, the 22 line. The only time we went here, we managed to stay for a bit, but then Trump not coming, new corona, new strain, back up. And but you see that we are being like this gap is acting as a magnet, right? The market wants to go back below 18, it just doesn't manage to fill the gap completely, right? And but now look where we are. It's of this very bearish here, and the capital happen here, right? Very cute. And here we are. No, capital happen here, sorry. And this was just on the lower time frame pump and dump and back to all-time high. So I think we made this time want to come in, and it comes as the 3 trillion stimulus package maybe approved soon. So I mean, you know what does that to the market, right? You've seen the market adjusted to the money supply. So eventually we will come back very low here and have a nice bull market. But it's actually very hard for me to be like bullish, you know, on everything, because part of what makes me bullish as the way I trade, and I'm like a gem finder at heart, right? I like to find the gem when nobody's talking about it or nobody believes in it, and that's one of the criteria that makes me even more bullish on something. But like, so if I bring the Bitcoin chart here, that's also to you know, to respond to you, KJ, but what a chart. We, you know, like what makes me bullish is recline, like just explain to you, Stillman explained to you something I say all the time. This is exactly the way I trade. What makes me bullish is when we reclaim a trap, when we confirm a trap, and then it's just confirming you're like, basically, it's the confirmation you need to be at the bottom, and it's not the confirmation everybody is looking at. You know, everybody's looking like, oh, we break the high, so now it's bullish. You know what? That's bullshit. Like, you're entering here. Yeah, you make money when you enter here, but you make way more money when you have the confirmation you need, right? And then you take a shot. You know, maybe you're wrong, but you took a shot, and if you're right, it pays big, right? So like, I'm on the record being bullish at 4K, calling for 100K after BitMEX crashed. You know, I'm that like reclaiming that trap. Like, I was bullish here. It's 5K, 6K. That was for me like a shot you needed to take, right? That's what makes me bullish, right? But then at 7K was another time I was on record saying we are bullish. At 8K was another time I was on record saying we are bullish. At 10K, it's another time here. I gave the entry here. And then the last time I was bullish was here, okay? Because we broke the high. So, and that was the first dip after we broke the high. You needed to be bullish. The same way the capital, right? If I share the SPY chart here, right? The capital happened here. Let me zoom in. Even lower time frame. Capital happened here. We broke all-time high. This was all-time high. We broke all-time high. And this is the first dip after all-time high, and the capital happened here. I'm on record saying buy the dip of the capital. And now we're here. So like, when I talk about like being a gem finder is an entry is a gem, right? Like, for me, this is a gem. Understand? It's just different time frames, but this is still a gem. And it's very hard now on the higher time frame, right? On the higher time frame, it's very hard for me to be bullish here, right? Because I've been bullish here, and here. But I gotta say, although it's very hard to be bullish here, it's fucking bullish. And that's my answer to you, KJ. It's like, this is not ever ending. Like, this is just a beginning. You know, I don't know what to tell you. Let me show you something. Like, this is a chart I showed everybody, all my friends. Let me bring it back up. Should be all right. So like this is Bitcoin log time frame monthly chart or weekly chart. Let's say weekly chart. You know, we went from 0 to 11. What happened? We will break 11. 250. Okay, 250 to 49. You do the story. What happened when we break it? We go. You know, then what happened when we break it? We go. And what happened when we break it? We go. Right? I mean, this is never ending. This is never ending, and it doesn't even feel like it's overextended yet. And you know, let's go back to the SPY now on higher time frame. This is the chart, you know, I drew during COVID, and I told you as soon as, you know, every time we go below the dot red line, we go to the orange line. Okay, tap in here, boom, orange. Tap in here, boom, orange. Tap in here, boom, orange. Here, COVID was the trap, stupid people. And as soon as you reclaim the red here, boom, orange. Where was I ever bearish once on the stock market? In August before this retrace. And it's at this retrace that Apple lost 15%. This is Apple. That's where I was bearish on the market. And then we had this retrace. You know, like you had people being bearish here. Oh, let's do the dead cat bounce. Never happened. Oh, let's do the all-time high double top. Never happened. Okay, I was bullish, you know, during Corona, and before Corona, I told you Corona is gonna be the biggest fuel in history. And even if Corona is bad and people die, a lot of young people are gonna get inheritance. And what do they do with it? They buy Bitcoin. And I mean, there is in no way whatsoever Corona was a bearish event for me. And you can look at the chart, and you can go in history and search. I've been openly bullish since all the time. And every time I receive a call from someone telling me, oh, they bought put, or they shorted the market. And that was just sentiment coming in the chart. And the only time I was bearish was here. And this is when the crash happened. And then this is at this crash on Apple, for example, that I realized that the amount of value, the amount of money that Apple, the valuation that Apple lost was equivalent to the value of Bitcoin, the capital, the market cap of Bitcoin. How Apple losing 25% is equal to buying all the Bitcoin. This didn't make sense to me, you know? Like Bitcoin could be 3, 4, 5 times Apple. And Apple losing 20% is equal to all the Bitcoin. This didn't make sense. And this was at Bitcoin 10K. Right, this one when GBTC was 10 and Bitcoin was 10K, and this is when it happened, right? The August dump. Same also, it happened with the crypto. Same for Bitcoin, right? I was bullish everywhere, even here, but the only time I was bearish only once on Bitcoin, and it was 12, and that's also on record, and we lost 25%, right? It's the only one time that I shorted Bitcoin was here. So, but then I relonged here and here and here. So at this point, I'm just, you know, like now you let it roll. But like, you know, it's the only time I showed it was here. And then I said, okay, buy the dip, TP here, buy back here, and let it roll. And I mean, just let it roll. Like Ghost Tribe said this morning, he stopped trading Bitcoin at 30K. Yeah, you're right. Exactly, I agree. Just don't. Just, you know, sell it once in a while if you need to buy alts or to pay yourself, but just let it roll. Like this is never ending. And why it isn't never ending? Because the yin and yang pattern, right? This is the biggest trap in history, and it's also the biggest fuel in history when you see what the implications are in terms of the economy and the politics and the technological evolution and the new needs, right? And forcing people to now use Uber Eats, forcing people to now use Zoom and Amazon and social media and online ads and whatnot, right? So like, yeah, I was bearish here, but I keep on buying the dip because of this that makes us go here, right? And even more now, because now when you do what I showed 3 weeks ago, SPY divided by the M2, we are not even close to all-time high. We are not even close to the neckline, you know? Like, I don't know. its capital was the dip again. It was like the MA retest. It's just bullish as fuck. It's just bullish as fuck.
That looks like a pretty juicy gap there.
Look at that. This is just the Dalai Lama. This is a Dalai, and this is just bullish as fuck. And here we were gonna go. Look, this was resistance, but we broke resistance. We made a new high. So this is bullish, right? And we were gonna go, and I don't know where we would have gone, but we were gonna go. And now, instead of going where we would have gone, we crashed with this, creating also new fundamentals. So like, not only I think we're gonna break, but I think that this is gonna make me again even higher. I don't know. I just don't know what to tell you. Like, this hasn't started yet. So by the dip, yeah, look, like this recovery, yeah, we had dips. We had dips. Don't go all in now and degen and 100x and forget about it. The time to do it was here. But, you know, like now we have eating resistance, we may have a dip. Then we break it, we're gonna have a dip. Then we break this one, we're gonna have a dip. Like, we're gonna have dips. But I'm just bullish. I mean, who is not bullish? Like, how can't you be bullish? So, I mean, and sentiment keeps on popping up. People keeps on shorting. I don't know. It just goes up. It just goes up. Let's start my review now. You all know now the new event on the calendar every morning, 9:05 EST. Little stock review. I believe there is more value in doing that and keeping you updated. More efficient information, more useful information to do that every morning, 5-10 minute flash rather than 30 minutes every Sunday. So now I'm gonna use this time I have now to do a little roundup, a little recap, and the swing the play that we actually swing over the weekend. So one of our swing is Google, and I apologize if I did a little mistake the other day. I traded Google. I said I was trading Google, but I was actually trading Google, right? There's both, and actually $10 difference. So, anyways, we are in this since. I got the 2-hour time frame. We're under these levels with a target of 1830. So this is playing out pretty well. Nice close, nice strong close on Friday. Another swing that I gave last minute was Facebook. Where is my Facebook chart? Fuck. Sorry. I have a nice Facebook chart. There we go. So yeah, on every morning for like 3 days, although I'm macro time frame very bullish on Facebook, I've been saying this many times, you know, like the Zuckbuck, Libra, or whatever it's called now, DM. I think DM it's pretty bullish. It's making Facebook, it's turning Facebook into a payment system company, which are the most bullish companies in the world. Taking a fee, taking a percentage out of every transactions. It doesn't care about inflation. The more inflation there is, the better there is. The more money there is, the more money they make. These are just bullish. They're just following the market. They're just following the economy. And Facebook may turn into one of these companies with also a crypto focus, which is also very bullish. VR is bullish. Instagram is taking over the world. So macro bullish on Facebook, and we have this play that we've been having since these levels that have been holding. But like, if you followed me this week on the call, I've been pretty bearish here because kind of upset about it, right? It doesn't go. It looks like shit every time it goes. It's being rejected. And at one point on Friday, I realized I was actually getting excited that I was right and it looked like shit. And then that's when I realized that it was actually using that entry as support all the time, and I use my own sentiment as a realization that maybe at one point, if it's gonna go, it has to bounce somewhere, and how can I keep on being bearish on something that I'm bullish long term? And I realized then that was happening. So that was Friday, and we had this trap here, retest and resistance at the MA, but then use that level as, that's what we've been saying. The trap is holding, so it's bullish, and we bounced. So I took a shot, and that's when I gave the entry here, and because it's an easy stop, right?
Sabi, can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Is that the OBV that you put in the background of your chart there?
yeah, it is.
Because that looks a lot like the DeFi perp chart that we discussed last week before.
I know, and so
yeah,
that was gonna be part of what I was gonna say, and
sorry, I didn't want to front run that. Sorry.
No problem. So as we were re-entering that stop loss area, but actually still holding these levels, that these are macro levels, and you see them holding in lower time frame, I realized that this dump was not even showing up on the OBV. Let me show the time frame. Wait, sorry. Getting lost. There we go. So as I was chatting this that on the 5-minute time frame looking for the entry, I realized that the OBV here was just not even, everything looked bullish, right? Look at these waves. If I just look at the OBV, right? And I realized that this dip here was not even a low, right? It was just a realization of where it was. And then Chris even kind of confirmed the trend, and I'm like, okay, this is it. So this is a play. We're already up like 50% if you took the options, or because that was a very scary place to buy it. And I guess one of the other reason I was bullish on Facebook is the ER run up, right? And we are 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out the AR, and basically I just stick to my plan that that I laid out 3 months ago, which was buy 260 and sell 300. I just stick to my plan, and we'll see if it works out. Something else we are on is TTD. We also nailed same pattern. I developed this a lot with Master Eagle, and go get me some more people that were in the call. How this held, and we bought that dip, and then it ran, and I have a target of 850 for that. But honestly, with the stimulus, the 2001 this time, it may want to feel that neckline here, 960. So if this happens, right, if you manage to break this MA, and it confirms a bullish momentum, and breaks 813, and then it breaks 825, we will keep on rolling up the contracts into the next until we reach the target, or until it doesn't work anymore. But you buy one contract, you roll it over, and every time you keep on taking profit, and you keep on getting a new play, and you keep on growing the account until it doesn't work anymore. But the day doesn't work, it's fine. You still made money because it worked 4 times in a row, 3 times in a row, 5 times in a row, and every time it works, it's a 200, 300, 400%. So you keep on growing the account, and sometimes you hit a runner, such as Goldman Sachs, right? We hit this runner pretty well. We bought it before all-time high, which was before 275. We bought it around here for the retest of all-time high, and we went to all-time high to 276, and it was not even on a daily on the daily chart. It was just a pump. We destroyed all-time high, as such that it was even hard for me to find a re-entry. Such a strong asset, but same as I was showing on SPY with the capital, you buy the retest of the low time frame retest of the all-time high breakout. So 276 was our all-time high, right? So we broke all-time high on that candle here, right? Pre-market we broke all-time high, and then we opened above, You could have bought this dip on the open after you see that we broke all-time high pre-market. If you don't believe in pre-market price action, it pumps in your face, and you can buy this dip, right? And just buying this dip was also a very, very nice play into new highs, about 5% overnight, which is a lot of money in options. What else we are on? We are on Pluton. Pluton, a very, very nice play. Same for Pluton. I was kind of bearish around here, making new lows. Didn't short it because the new lockdown happening everywhere, and this is rather bullish for this stock, but the asset looked bearish. Although you could argue it was very much of a bull flag here. But as soon as we broke up here, kind of confirmed it was going to be a bullish asset, and KJ entered at 148 if you followed him. I gave a confirmation level of 151, right? So we broke 151 here. You have this dip to buy at 150. And then on the pre-market on Friday, we gave this entry same at 154. So like different ways of playing the asset and identifying gem entries. And you should be up. Like nobody should be losing money on Pluton right now, whether you followed KJ, you're up 10%, you waited for confirmation, you're up 7%, and you bought just a dip on Friday, should be up 4%. Okay, so congrats. Something else we are on is MasterCard. Same reason. I explained this reason on the pre-call. I believe MasterCard payment system going to take a cut of every transaction happening, online shopping or not. All the dips have been bought up or not even budged. So this looked pretty good. OBV is making an all-time high and broke out of the range. I expect price to do the same. All right. Can't be clearer. Roku is a monster, and we actually shorted Roku here and cashed in it here, and then I rolled over my contract into more puts because I was bearish, and it didn't work out. It's okay, it went to 0, but that was just a rollover, so I still made money on the first play that paid for both. And then I didn't buy this dip because I still hoped my puts were gonna pay, but that was wrong. I should have respected my my logic. I didn't respect my logic. If you understand, this was the trap, and this was a retest of the trap. This is super bullish. So I realized that I had a bias because of the contracts I was holding. So then I decided to buy the dip and to counter trade my contracts and just roll over into longs. And I did this here when we broke the high on that dip, and this paid out big here, cashed out, and regretted cashing out, but I should have rolled over. That's what I should have done, and I didn't. Same as Goldman Sachs, right? It's so bullish. Market has been so bullish this week that it's very hard to find a re-entry once you're out, right? Same happened, I guess, with Tesla, right? So now it's like I said earlier, market is very emotional. Market is very tense, and we feel it ourselves. Actually, I do. It's hard to stay grounded when it's that crazy. Market has been going up every stocks in that watch list have been going from 5 to 15% a day every day. Pretty insane, such as Lemonade and Tesla. So just like Baidu. So just stay grounded and follow the trend because it's not gonna stop. But anything can happen at any time. Capital lockdown, someone getting shot, someone getting cancer. So, just be careful. Risk management is all. But if you follow risk management, there is no reason you should not do money on the long run with the market we have right now. Like everybody here should make a lot of money before the end of the year and compound that money throughout the year so that it is a lot of money at the end of the year, right? Is it not Einstein who said compounding is the eighth marvel of the world? So the only way to compound is to follow risk management, and like everybody should be making money right now and keep making money the whole year. 2022 will be another story when we will be all vaccinated and over COVID, and that the Democrats controlling everything in the politics are going to make democratic stuff, which is probably raising tax on capital gains, trading fee. Every time you buy, every time you sell, 10 cents, 15 cents goes away. I do 20 trades a day. That's $10 at the end of the day. It's $50 at the end of the week. It's $200 at the end of the month. Me times a million people who do the same that I do. That's a lot of money for the government. Market's not gonna like that. And yeah, the taxes. So like this is 2021. This is far out. For now, they're saying they won't raise taxes and they will keep on printing money. Look what 900 billion did to the market. Just now realize what 3 trillion can do to the market, right? So just let's take advantage of this. Let's all make money. Just be safe, stay safe, and manage your risk. That's it for me.
Good stuff. All right. Chris, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll just make it really quick because you guys covered pretty much everything, which is usually the case when we get to me, but I'm fine with it because the coverage is good. So screen, let me just pop this up and go live. You guys see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I have to ask this every time because of switching screens during recording and all that. Okay, I'm just going to go through, the markets real quick. I spoke about oil, and I felt like shorting this, but I'm going to wait because I felt like it had a potential of going higher and testing the structure, which it did. So I'm pretty glad it did that. And also, I got news this week that OPEC was doing every single effort to make sure that all of its members curtail production to raise prices. So until that changes, the price is going to keep on going up to where, I don't know, which is why I'm not longing it. Silver took a nice dump right onto my trend line, the one I said that, if it falls back on last week, you should buy. Well, it hit exactly on the trend line and bounced up over $1. So this was a really nice bounce on silver. It might actually H and go back up. But this is actually a good time to buy if you guys had a chance to do it. I'm full up on silver, so I didn't. But anyways, that's that. Gold did not have such a good bounce. It was, in percentage, it was not even half of what silver did, which is, once again, I'm going to repeat it, why I'm way more bullish on trading silver than gold, because the percentages are always a lot better. Where the VIX is concerned, and all the other market indicators, I mean, obviously things are looking very bullish across the board. So I agree a lot with what Xavi and the boys said. The U.S. dollar is spiking up a little bit right now, but until we actually have some major good news on the American political side, we're probably going to stay in that range right there and probably even dump a little bit when they start the printers going again. Where BTC is concerned, I'm not going to actually talk about the price structure and anything like that. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the dips that I've been catching on this and other assets during the last week and how I catch them. Right here, I made a mistake last night. I pulled my bids at 8.5, which is why I woke up with those nice colorful words in margin channel this morning, because I pulled my 8.5% bids and I would have caught it. And even if I got out right now, this would have been a very nice bit of profit to wake up to. The reason why I grabbed these right here is they're very, very easy to see. It's because, it hits this very often, and sometimes it'll go to something like this, which is actually 20%. Now I'm using this indicator that I built for this, but this is something that you can do manually as well if you don't like using indicators, and I'll show you how afterwards. This is a 20% drop, and why I believe we can still do this here is because we're at this 8% right now. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this 8.5 that I had before, that it really likes to hit often, which it hit right here, right? And then it did this little horseshoe thing, and then it dumped right down to the 20% that I just showed you guys. Well, we're doing exactly the same structure. We hit an all-time high, then we dumped 8%, 8.5%, and then we went back up to do another all-time high. Then we dumped 8.5%, then faked up and went back down. Well, this is exactly the same thing. We did an all-time high, dumped 8.5%. Then we made another one shortly thereafter, another 8.5% dump to here. Then we ranged for a bit, and now boom, which is a lot like the structure here after the sideways ranging that it did there and the 8.5% that it did there. So, which is why I've got bids at 20% because I'm expecting to catch that again. Hey, worst that could happen, I miss it. Okay, and my screen is frozen. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
And your screen works too, like the stream also still updates.
Okay, good. So that's funny. So anyways, this is why I set them. Now, this is something that you can also do manually. Like Etsy asked for, and this works also, you know, for rising assets at all-time high and also for dumping assets at all. Oh, wow. DAG actually went up. Okay. At all-time low. So if you take a mid-ranging asset, something that's not close to all-time lows or all-time highs, you can do this manually the same way. Let's take a time frame that actually makes sense. And you see these spikes right there. You can grab this tool and look at the range. Sorry, I need the range that it does the most common. I'm going to take this magnet off because it's just hard to do both at the same time. This is a 25% dump. That's really nice, and it actually did it around here again, maybe a little bit more. So maybe, you know, it's worth watching if VeChain does these 25% dumps or whatever, you know. Maybe 20% dump is a good place to go check it out. Well, you can just very simply say, right-click on the asset, add an alert. I want to know if, oh, this is DAG, no wonder. This one only moves down. So if it moves down, say 15% in 10 bars, send me an alert, and that's it. Create the alert, and then you can close the screen, never look at it again. And if you guys get an email from TradingView telling you that, or a pop-up telling you that an asset moved down 15% in 10 bars, which is a pretty significant move, then, you know, give you an alert. These are very powerful tools that you should know how to use in TradingView, and it makes it so that you don't have to be staring in front of the screen all the time. And that's why, you know, I go through these lists where, you know, I look at the futures pairs, and, you know, it's nice to see which ones had, you know, large changes and look at them one after the other one to see which ones got nice price structures. But I also have alerts on every single one of these, and whenever they make a significant move, it pops up. So I don't have to look at these every hour and see what they're doing. So that wraps up my section for now. And I'm going to be, as I said, and I've promised several times, except that this week was a little bit nuts with all the new people and the DMs and explanations. But I'm going to be making videos on the indicators that I developed for the Dojo, as well as a couple of tips and tricks on TradingView, which are going to be available on the site. So that's it for me.
All right. So covered a lot in a short period of time.
Tips for TradingView, really cool. I didn't know about that kind of alert, that you could do that with the percentage move. Never looked it up.
Yeah, there's a lot of powerful stuff on TradingView that I realize that not many people know about. So, I'm gonna take for granted that this 50-year-old is not representative of most people, and that I'm still a kid that likes to click on everything and find things out. So I'll share those things.
Okay. Sorry to cut you off earlier, Jake.
No, good. All good. All right. So Chris is looking for this to be a bear flag, and that 20% would bring us to what? About 33? Is that what I was saying?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm not going to be that greedy. If even if it just bounces back at the 20%, I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. All right. So we're gonna wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay alert, and yeah, we'll talk to you later. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody. Have a good Sunday.
Take care.
See you guys.
Have a good one.